All right, we're back. We ended off with the Buffalo Sabres into commercial break. We come back with the Buffalo Sabres. This time we're going to talk about their GM, Darcy Regier, pulling off a trade requiring 2 draft picks and Matt Moulson from the New York Islanders in exchange for Thomas Vanek. Guys, I know Darcy Regier's gone through a lot of pressure in Buffalo. They want to get rid of him. He should have been fired rather than Lindy Ruff, some might say. Do you think this trade potentially could save his job, or is this guy done?
Oh, for sure. That trade definitely saved him. Matt Moulson, I don't know why the Islanders want to get rid of him. Thomas Vanek, I don't think he might do okay with Tavares, but Matt Moulson, Tavares had such great chemistry the last few years. Buffalo's Regier's looking very smart right now, picking up Moulson. And
2 picks.
First shot, first goal from Moulson last night.
But at the same time, is the day's number still over for Regier? Somebody has to rebuild this team. And then the question is right now, is it going to be Darcy or not? And yeah, it's a good trade for them. Only thing is they're both rentals. Like, they're both rentals, and Buffalo has to sign them at the end of the day.
And the fear is obviously Matt Moulson possibly even traded because he is also a UFA. Yep. Speaking of which, there was also reports that, I don't know, maybe this is just to appease the Sabres fans, their fan base, but it sounded like with Regier and what they're saying in the front office, hey, we tried signing Thomas Vanek to the largest deal, wanted to make him the richest player in the NHL, but we couldn't work a deal out, and the fear of losing him, and he didn't want to be a part of the rebuild, we traded him off to the Islanders. Now, doesn't that scare you off a little bit, or do you even buy what the sentiment he's saying?
You know what, and the thing is, Vanek too also signed an offer sheet with the Oilers, which Buffalo matched, and Buffalo was kind of pressured and matched that. Now you're looking at it, they probably should have let him go, you know, and they would have been the Oilers' problem. And
the fact they probably would have picked up Jordan Eberle because
exactly.
You
think of the players that they could have got out of that, where Buffalo is now, to where they could be if they would have let Vanek go to Edmonton.
Oh.
Yeah. No. No, Buffalo's going to be. Ryan Miller won't be there for much longer. They're clearly in rebuild mode. They're just going to look for draft picks now. So if Regier's there or not, at the end of the day, he's still going to have to make those trades.
All right, we're going to talk about umpires. Well, I thought this was genius. Now, after Game 3 of the World Series, you had a group of them, Jim Joyce, who made that, which was a great call. It was from a standpoint that you look at it and you're like, was that a play that was illegal? Of course, we're talking about Will Middlebrooks interfering with a Cardinals runner that ended up being a game-winning run in Game 3 of the World Series. They ended up having a press conference right after that, holding it, talking to the media. I like this idea. I like the fact that they'll get up there and be accountable. You don't have to interview them every time, but if there is a play that ends up being controversial, I want to know their decision. Do you see this as a smart thing and possibly the future for other sports to do?
I like it just for the playoffs. Like, you don't need to do it for the regular season because it's just the regular season. It's just 2 points at the end of the day. But, yeah, playoffs, why not? If there's something like that, why not get the opinion of the referees or the ump or the ref or whoever it may be?
Yeah, the thing is with technology nowadays, it doesn't matter what sport it is, hockey, baseball, football, the replays and everything can break down to the precise second, to the precise fraction of a measurement, that it's so much discretion is on the referees and so much pressure is on all these different officials to make the correct call, and then all of a sudden now we're holding them accountable and they're meeting the press to talk about it. You know, I don't like the old days. You know, you know what, a blown call is a blown call. Let's move forward with it.
Well, you know, we're in the days of Twitter now. When media thing, instant replay, it just adds up. When just
everything's exposed.
Trust me,
element.
There's one job you do not want on the face of the earth, and that's being an umpire, being a referee in hockey, being a referee in football, because you're accountable for everything, because there is a camera everywhere you're playing, and if you make a mistake, it's going to be everywhere.
I want to throw a name out for you guys. Flipper Anderson. Now, that doesn't pop up into people's heads immediately, but
Flipper. Flipper.
Back in 1989, he set the record for most receiving yards in a game. The reason why I brought this up was, of course, Calvin Johnson came 6 yards shy of that and had more yards than total offense for Dallas, which was shocking. But that's what happened. Calvin Johnson, amazing receiver, led to the game-winning drive with Shem Bagford, broke the plane on the one. Guys, is Megatron the best NFL receiver to date.
Is he as good as Flipper then, you're saying?
Oh, he's better than that. I'm just asking you, is he the best right now? Because there was that competition between him and DEZ BRYANT.
No, he's the best. He's got the speed. He's got the size. He's got the hands. He's got everything. He's the total package. Megatron is the real deal.
Yeah, not a slight against Detroit, but just imagine if he was on a real good team.
Put him
Like
with
the
Tom
Chiefs.
Brady.
Like the
Like the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Can you imagine if he was with Tom Brady? Can you imagine if he was with a guy named Manning? Can you imagine the kind of numbers that he would put up?
Just to make sure, you're talking about Peyton, not Eli.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But if he was with Peyton, if he was with New England, you look at some of these, and he's he's with an above average quarterback. He's not an elite quarterback. I wouldn't say he's in the top 10. If he's in with a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, his numbers.
It's like Jerry Rice, right?
He'd be mind-boggling. Yeah.
Okay. Really quick, guys. DEZ BRYANT. I want to get your comments on him because much like Corey Sheets and that John Cornish type of rivalry, where maybe Sheets seemed to be out of bounds a little bit because he wanted that pressure. Same thing with DEZ BRYANT here. It was him and Calvin Johnson, not so much the Lions against the Cowboys. Was DEZ BRYANT and his outburst towards Jason Witten and the team a little selfish, or is that just competitive nature?
It's the same thing as Sheets.
Same thing.
Selfish.
He just wants to win. He wants the ball. He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with going off on your teammate. And, you know, it could psych him up, for one. Two, he just wants the ball. He just wants to win. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with going off on your team and going off on teammates and going off on coaches behind closed doors. That's what they make dressing rooms for. That's why sometimes you walk by a dressing room, you don't want to repeat what you hear coming out of the walls.
So I have to go to you. Bucky, we got to go to the dressing room and talk. In the middle of the game, you want me to do that? I'm not doing that.
You wait until halftime. You wait until the end of the game. What can be addressed or address it in a lot more diplomatic manner. You have, like we just said moments ago, you have cameras everywhere in every professional sports that anything that's going to be done on the sidelines, done on a player's bench, is going to be seen on TV.
I was going to say this. Eventually, they're going to add cameras into dressing rooms, and the NFL is actually thinking about that. So the fact that maybe they have to meet at a coffee shop without anybody there is probably going to
cameras in dressing rooms now.
I don't think you really care about a camera at the moment.
We're going to have to actually take a quick commercial break here, guys. I know this is heated. It's great. But, again, we're going to have to pay the bills when we come back. We have Over Under next.